Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers, is The Last Jedi made by all the people who had fan theories after The Force Awakens.
Every legend is based on fact. Every myth is grounded in truth. For 17 years, the town of Haddonfield, Illinois, has been haunted by a night when evil roamed the streets and a madman ruled the night. Everyone knows his name.
Hello, welcome back to the Waffle Press Retrospectives. I'm your host, Diego Crespo, here to talk about Halloween 6. Also here with me today on this journey, I was going to try to toss in an adjective there, but it's not even worth it, is Matt Garingo.
You're trying about as hard as the filmmakers.
At least the producers. I think this this franchise got away from people very quickly.
No one deserves any kudos for this.
No. But we're here to talk about Halloween 6, and someone who we will give kudos to eventually in their lifetime is Paul Rudd, America's sweetheart.
Who is not good in this.
No, he's very, very bad. And this is his first role.
He's shockingly
right?
bad. I'm surprised. I just don't know how he got it.
I don't know either, but Paul Rudd's awful in this, and I'm so sorry, Paul Rudd. But you're Ant-Man now, and people like you in that, and in many other things. So
you're fine in the things you do.
I'm sorry that this is where you started. I truly am.
That is crazy that he's part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Oh yeah, it's bizarre. I wouldn't have put him as that character though. I still think that was weird.
Is anyone else from this franchise in the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
I don't know. Tom Atkins would make a good Ant-Man villain though.
Yeah, he could pop up for he's 90 now though. He's an old guy.
Yeah.
He could be the new head of S.H.I.E.L.D. because S.H.I.E.L.D.'s cool now.
Oh. I hope they never bring back S.H.I.E.L.D.
You know what? Brad Dourif is in the Halloween remakes, and he was on an episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
That counts.
I guess.
They'll tell you it counts, but they'll never connect.
Fucking show. Whatever happened to the Inhumans?
Oh, that bombed hard.
I heard it was very
I never watched
bad.
it. I couldn't do it. I saw the trailer and I was like, oh, good God. Human hands made this?
It's supposed to be a movie.
It was. It was supposed to come out at the time of this recording, this week.
Hey.
Yeah, wow. Bringing it full circle. The Cult of Thorn strikes again.
The Cult of Thorn. The sacrifice was not made. Because...
Good Lord.
This movie's a goddamn mess, people.
It's more of a mess than these podcasts. So in Halloween 5, we see these religious symbols revolving around Michael Myers and a mysterious man in black. They mean nothing in that movie. They mean nothing to the movie. They mean nothing for anyone. No one knew what they were doing. Halloween 6 is the attempt to answer questions people had when those questions were asked. And it's weird. It's really weird. I think if anyone goes into Halloween 6 looking for anything to get out of it, and I don't think you should, but if you stumble upon it in your life journey at some point, what I think people could take away from this movie is that it is kind of hilarious how awful this is and how
it
little
never
sense
reaches.
this makes.
It never reaches a moment where the lunacy of it is that interesting though.
No, it's definitely not. Not. You're never gonna top Loomis just beating Michael with a wooden plank. Yeah. You're never gonna reach that.
I think the thing that sums up the big problem with this movie is that at the end of the film, there is a cult. Think Rosemary's Baby. About to sacrifice a young woman and a baby. And they're chanting rituals, and there's candles everywhere. And off on the right of the frame is just Michael Myers standing there. And it doesn't work.
No.
It's not even humorous. It's just it's like he walked into the wrong movie. Because none of this works at all.
No.
I can't think of a single moment in this film that even came close to working. Uh, it's like it's broken in its inception, and then they executed it poorly on top of that, and then it was butchered to shit by a studio. It is truly a failure on every level.
Yeah, it's easily just as bad as Halloween 5 for me,
Mhm.
but
This is
like
significantly worse than five for me.
it
Five had a lot of moments.
because of the Loomis thing for me, because that was just so fucking hysterical.
Yeah, and but I think five, like it. Here's the thing: there was a director for five who was at least trying. He wasn't very
Yeah,
good,
okay, yeah, I can go with that.
but
Oh, you know what? No, Jamie Lloyd. Jamie Lloyd is a really talented actress, and she's not in this. So
yeah, she saved. She's the saving grace of four and five. Um, but this is directed by a guy who went on to direct episodes of The Wire, I believe.
wow, that
Yeah,
quality upswing.
yeah. Well, that just shows that it's usually about the writing on that show. The lead actress of this film actually said that the director had no interest in actually making a good movie.
Wow,
Uh, he wanted to get a three-picture deal with Miramax, and that if he directed this, he could get that deal.
did he?
I believe he did, but I don't think he made anything of note.
Oh,
Oh, you know what he did? What I just Googled?
what?
Phantoms.
Wow,
Yeah.
Affleck was the bomb in it.
Affleck was the bomb in Phantoms, yo. Remember when Dean Koontz was like neck and neck with Stephen King? And then everyone realized Dean Koontz is like just like Bill O'Reilly, but with ghosts. Yeah, so that's so you can thank this film for Phantoms. Was it worth it, America?
No,
I guess we should say the in the intervening years between five and six, five very much underperformed. It is, I believe, still the least successful of all the Halloween films to this day. So Mustafa Akkad was very upset, and he decided, let's slow things down. Let's rework where this franchise is going. Um, and eventually, they decided to move forward with six, and they made a deal with Miramax at some point. It was either going to be New Line or Miramax, and they made a deal with Miramax. Miramax was originally owned by the Weinsteins, so there's that connection now. And they did it under their Dimension label, which was the label that used to produce all the horror films.
I remember this,
Label that would go on to make Scream,
which is a very
and
good movie.
which is very. This is like I believe like a year or two before Scream, and you can feel it. Like this is that era where just horror films are just completely dead in this country. Like they're just not good. There isn't anything good coming out. What was Event Horizon?
95, 96.
Yeah, that sounds about right. It's part of that, or like Species, which is a terrible film. A lot of science fiction horror in the 90s because everyone was still like cyberpunk, yo, and it took Hollywood like a decade to catch up.
I caught Johnny Mnemonic recently. Like I think like
Oh
earlier this
no.
year, or last year,
Mm,
because I heard it was like at least weird '90s. You know, like I was really into cyberpunk like
mm.
stuff at the time. Like I had just read, what was that book you recommended to me? I have no
Was it
mouth and
Snow
I must
Crash?
scream.
Oh,
Like
all right,
that
yeah.
that weird shit. And then
Mm.
went back to System Shock and got all hyped for the remake that's like dead in the water now too. And then that was like the peak of my interest when I watched Johnny Mnemonic, and I was like, oh, this is bad.
Yeah, Johnny Mnemonic's bad.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. There's an FMV video game of Johnny Mnemonic, but that has like a lot of stuff. It's all the sets from the movie and some of the cast, except not Keanu Reeves.
Oh, of course not. Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Um, I think what was the plot of Johnny Mnemonic? Ah, fuck it. He's a mnemonic carrier, right? He has stuff in his brain.
Yeah.
That would have been a better story for Halloween.
1 gigabyte of data. He carries 1 gigabyte of data in his brain or something like that.
Yeah, one
Yeah,
gigabyte.
it's like
Holy
really like
shit.
hilarious.
Yeah,
Not even a terabyte.
it's like I got more on my fucking phone.
Yeah. Well, it was the 90s. They didn't know that like floppy disks were going to be like obsolete.
They should have known. William Gibson was like a part of that. He's usually good at like not being that dumb. Um, anyway,
Oh yeah, this movie.
there was some talk of like who's gonna make this fucking thing. Um, Scott Spiegel, of co-writer of Evil Dead 2, I guess was approached. I guess he gave a
Oh,
pitch.
nice, nice.
And according to rumors, and I'm not totally sure if this is true, but at one point Quentin Tarantino was at least approached. Some sources say that he even gave a very short treatment of what he wanted to do, but it did not happen.
Well,
Uh,
that's actually interesting. So, this, and to bring it back to our Predator franchise, this is around the same time that Rodriguez was tapped to write and direct the third Predators.
mhm.
So, in the weird mid 90s, when all these franchises were dying off, all these schlocky horror franchises, they tapped interesting people to at least like try to bring them on board.
Well, this was like the whole new independent film market, you know?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
suddenly you had people like, Tarantino, Rodriguez, Kevin Smith, Soderbergh. They're all coming in and like they're kind of getting pitched some franchises. And most of which I don't think any of them ever got anything done, you know?
yeah. Well, Smith got pretty
Uh,
far with Superman.
yeah, he almost did that Superman
Yeah,
movie,
which is
which is crazy to think he got the farthest.
yeah,
I mean, I guess at the time Hollywood doesn't know. These guys they're all potential energy. They don't really know that they're gonna have a lasting legacy.
I'm trying to suck them dry.
Maybe only one of them has a lasting legacy right now, but um, I hope Alita's really good.
Oh yeah, me too.
I really want that to be good. I love that series.
I this
Um,
this is my only instance of it.
check out, read the original run of
All
it.
right.
It's really good. Like seriously,
Okay. Oh my God! You know
it's
what they're gonna do? I'm just fuck it. This conversation is gonna start revolving around other more interesting shit than Halloween 6. But here's what they're gonna do now. Avatar 2 is gonna be sneak previewed on Alita Battle Angel.
hey, whatever.
I guarantee that's gonna happen.
If it gets people to see Alita,
Yeah.
um, I don't know. Everyone was kind of like, "This looks strange," so I'm not into it. Like the moment that trailer
Yeah.
dropped.
That keeps fucking happening. And
Yeah,
people are like,
yeah.
I'm tired of the same movies over and over again. If something's different, and they're like,
There's like a
ugh.
there's like a fucking Peter Jackson movie coming out in like 3 weeks.
Oh yeah.
Like a produced Peter Jackson film.
Yeah, I don't know what it's called, but the cities eat other cities, which is amazing.
Yeah, it looks like it. I don't know if it's gonna be good. I really don't know anything about it, but it's like it looks like someone spent some money on it, and it's weird that it's like so under the radar. Uh, like at least someone's trying.
Yeah.
There's no Blade Runner this year.
No movie you were wrong about yet?
No, I mean there's that, but no like big budget movie that will bomb that's actually really good. You
Yeah, I don't
know?
think so. Nothing this year.
Nothing that interesting coming down the pipe.
Maybe Aquaman.
What about that Nutcracker film?
Oh God. That's Joe Johnston's last movie now.
Did he direct it?
He was brought on to co-direct reshoots.
Oh.
Yeah, but
Oh.
and then he was gonna do another Narnia, and that was gonna be his last one, but they canned it for a series on Netflix, and so I think
That
that's
might
it
be a
for
better
him.
idea because those Narnia films fucking blew, man. They fucking suck. I don't know. I hate fucking Narnia. Fucking C.S. Lewis, suck my dick. I like the screw tape letters. Anyway, um, the script would end for Halloween 6 would eventually be written by a guy named Daniel Farrens, I believe is his name. Who's basically just a huge fan of the Halloween films, and boy howdy does it show. He's the very definition of a fan who's not a filmmaker, you know?
Yeah.
Actually, what I said watching this, I actually posted this earlier, was Halloween 6 The Curse of Michael Myers is The Last Jedi made by all the people who had fan theories after The Force Awakens.
Oh, that's the soundbite at the beginning now. That's
It's
perfect.
exactly what it is. It's Darth Plagueis. You throw it like Luke's got a super weapon. She's the reincarnation of someone, also related to Obi-Wan Kenobi. Um, fucking the one he's like actually a clone of someone. Uh,
Tommy Doyle.
Tommy Doyle is in Star Wars now. No, it's just awful. Like honestly, this is my answer to people who are like, "What's Snoke's deal?" And I'm like, if we got an answer, it would be fucking boring.
And then like, because honestly, we've talked about it on the Star Wars show. Like, Snoke wasn't great. He looks great in Last Jedi, but there's nothing to that character, and you can perceive something from that with just like a blatant mystery, right? And he serves a purpose for the characters in the story, and that's it, and that's fine. That's better than just like another rerun of Darth Plagueis, which is something that or Darth Sidious, but that's
Yeah.
something people already like don't want to see again. But then they complain about not having that figurehead, so it's like you don't know what you want.
Yeah, the fans don't know what they want. I mean, I'm talking about honestly, it is a vocal minority. The average fan has moved on with their fucking life.
Yeah, my mom, who doesn't give a fuck about Star Wars, the one she like likes, she really enjoys,
Mm.
but like she can't sit through Empire, she can't sit through Return of the Jedi. Most of the prequels do nothing, but she loved Last Jedi, and so and that was it. But she doesn't like, she has some interest. She's a teacher. She has a life outside of movies, so it's not like a
Yeah,
driving force, you
my
know.
my dad fucking hates everything. And he liked the Last Jedi. So like he usually would walk out of any sequel and he's like, I didn't like some of that bullshit. And but he like walked out of Last Jedi and really liked it. And then when I told him about the backlash, he was like, get a life. Um, but yeah, like I said, like Snoke in The Last Jedi serves a narrative purpose. He's not he doesn't need to actually be explained. The Man in Black in Halloween 5 serves a narrative purpose, which is even more hackneyed than anything in The Force Awakens. And you don't need to explain who he is. And this is what happens if the whole movie had been if Last Jedi had explained who Snoke was.
There's some fucking asshole out there that's like, you know what they should have done with the Star Wars sequel trilogy? And then they're pointing to these movies. I just
Yeah,
know it.
there are people who like the producer's cut of this.
Yeah. So in my research of this weird series of movies,
Mhm.
specifically this trilogy 4, 5, and 6, a lot of fans really like 6 because of how weird it is.
It validates a lot of fan theories.
Uh, I,
It
I don't get it. I don't get it.
You know, I'd be lying if I said I don't get it. I do, like 3 years ago. Like when you're a different person, when you're a younger guy, that's what you kind of look for in these type of movies. And now that I'm on the other side of it, I realize no, you don't want that. You know, like you don't want. Also, you want to understand this is a movie where if you only understand plot and don't understand character or theme, this is the type of movie you get.
I'd go further and say like filmmaking
Mm.
because there's like nothing to any of the scene construction here.
This feels like a comic book, like a Dynamite Comics, where they get some license and then they make some spin-off thing,
Yeah, and it's like, oh, it's canon, but it's like it's really not.
It's not really, but
Yeah,
it's fun, whatever.
yeah. Like I like some of those things sometimes too.
It's
Arrow used to do these like in between season comics, or like catch up on the season until like season 3 or whatever, right? And then
mm,
occasionally they would kill off characters there. This is when like the DC head honchos were like, we're making the Justice League and stuff now, so you guys can't use these characters, and so they'd kill them off from the shows in the comics
oh
before
wow.
the next season, so they couldn't use them.
Oh
And then
wow.
eventually that like all blew up in the movie faces, so they're like, yeah, you guys can use them again. And they're like, well, we killed them off in the comics. And then the showrunners were like, yeah, but those don't really matter. So they just started bringing people back. So it's like that thing. It's that thing could be thrown away.
Yeah, and I'm fine with that. I'm not looking for like continuity. Like I have no problem with like continuity not making sense because it never fucking does
Mm.
in these type of franchises. Uh, but like, here's the question. Here's the main thing. What is the narrative thrust of this film?
Uh, something about the baby, Jamie's baby.
Yeah, but that's like the MacGuffin.
Oh, there's none then. Michael
Like, who's
killing
who's
again?
who's driving the story?
I think it's supposed to be Tommy Doyle.
I think so too, but he also does nothing.
Yeah. I think it's supposed to be him finding the baby MacGuffin. And there's supposed to be something like pushing that forward because he's only like important because he has continuity in the Halloween franchise. He doesn't do anything, and there's nothing to his character except he's a
Yeah.
peeping tom, which is awkward and weird and
Well, he's
gross.
not really a peeping tom. He's watching the Myers house. It's like a fake out. You think he's a peeping tom, but again, it's never really explained. He's never confronted about it.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, I think he's supposed to be. But he's like he's one of three protagonists. You know,
yeah.
and there's almost four. Like there would be four protagonists if one of them wasn't taken out of the film about 20, 30 minutes in. It's like no one's this entire film is just characters reacting to a plot around them and none of them are driving it, so there's no tension, there's nothing. And I know some idiot out there is like, that's what all movies are, everyone's reacting to something, but it's like there's nothing driving their reactions. It's this happens and this happens and this happens and this
It's
happens, you
that
know.
note card style storytelling. I mean, like when you're coming up with like a first draft or outlining a story, that's what it's gonna be like because you're coming up with like the basic story.
Yeah.
The problem is when you don't flesh it out and you make it grow, then it just reads like, and then this plot point, and then that.
It's
And
really a problem of character in this instance.
yeah, yeah,
You need some drive, and there's no one driving this, which is a big problem.
yeah. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. If this movie had the same script, but it had like some absurdly talented like B-level filmmaker, like, and they at least were very creative in like their direction, their atmosphere, or like the kills, just something on the filmmaking side of things that could like energize everything, I'd probably be okay with how stupid this is and how like nothing of a story. Because by this point in the Halloween franchise, like nobody expected anything more than just like I want to go watch some people get like killed by Michael Myers, right, in creative ways.
Well, yeah, if this got crazier and crazier, it would probably. If this was like Life Force,
Oh yeah.
which is a fucking ridiculous film,
Oh, if Dan O'Bannon wrote a Halloween.
yeah, like I could see something like that, but nothing happens in this movie. The weird thing is Michael Myers is like barely in it. Like I think they were trying to be restrained, but instead it just feels like nothing's happening because there's no suspense. Like the opening of this movie, we should say, the very beginning of this is the cult. Like there's like half a second where you think it's a hospital, and then you're like, oh, it's a cult, and there's a baby being born, blah blah blah. We find out if you have the producer's cut. That we find out that Jamie Lloyd was kidnapped immediately after the police station was destroyed in Halloween 5. Um, and but like you're just told that this cult exists and it has something to do with Michael Myers, and so now there's no mystery. You know that there's a cult, you know?
And like that's it. It's like, oh, okay.
And so now every time there's like a mysterious character or an old friend, you're immediately like they're probably part of the cult. Like that's how the whole movie ends up feeling. And so it destroys any notion of. I talked about last time, I think I mentioned that all the Halloween films kind of follow a basic structure. Michael Myers escapes and setup of new characters. Michael Myers kills supporting cast. And then face off with Michael Myers. That's like the three things that happen in almost all of them. Here you don't have one. You don't have one. Michael Myers was already on the run. We know he's on the run, but we don't really. We just know there's this cult out there. and they kind of overshadow what's going on with Michael. Like he just walks in and out of this film. It's very bizarre. Like I just don't like. I don't understand how anyone thought this was working, and clearly it didn't because it fucking tested horribly.
Well, I mean, just even from like the opening with like the already mismanaged story, they couldn't bring Jamie Lloyd back, and I'm actually really glad that she didn't come back because I don't want her to. I wouldn't want to see her go through this.
Yeah,
It's like
did
really
you know
gross what they have her
the
do.
do you know the story behind it? Like
They didn't want to pay her as much,
they
right?
yeah they want to pay her, and she was not happy with the script.
I can't imagine why.
And so she was like, "Well, I want to at least get paid for it." And they're like, "Nah, we're not gonna do it." And so it's just it's bullshit. If she was gonna, they wanted to pay her $1,000 for 1 week of work.
What?
Like that's insane.
And this is after the last Boy Scout, you sons of bitches.
Yeah, like she would have. It should have been like starring her and Donald Pleasance. But and in early drafts of the script, from what I understand, she was supposed to live until the very end. Which, if that's what you're gonna do, I whatever. In both versions, she has a pretty unceremonious death. In the producer's cut, she is shot in her sleep, which is just embarrassing. And then in the theatrical cut, she is violently stabbed with like a farm equipment or something.
And then Michael Myers turns on that farm equipment just like to
Yeah.
fucking nail it
Which
in.
like again, I'm glad it wasn't Daniel Harris because it would have been more upsetting to watch
Yeah,
her go
Daniel Harris.
through
I
it.
keep fucking up the names now.
Oh, did you call her the character name?
Yeah,
Oh,
my
all right.
bad.
I probably did. I've probably done the same thing. If it had been her, I probably would have been upset. But instead, it's just this actress who I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
And
hey,
honestly,
she got work.
this is also the problem with films that like try to validate fan theories. Like you cannot understand what the fuck's happening unless you're a fan of the series, like an Uber fan, you know?
Yeah,
And that's a problem.
or some idiots that have just been marathoning all these movies.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, and here's the thing: we've been marathoning it, and I don't even know what the fuck's happening half the time in this movie.
Oh yeah. Also, that this is the grossest thing. Because Michael Myers is her uncle, and so it's like they forced impregnated her with Michael's child, which is
Yeah,
like
but is it ever said that it's Michael's child?
no, but I think that's the implication.
It's implied, but it's so dumb. Why did they do that?
I don't know.
Because it's like part of it, like the whole idea is that there's this cult, the cult of Thorn, which is the symbol that it's a runic symbol. It's on Michael. It's fucking bullshit. Who gives a flying fuck? But like he needs to kill his whole family as a sacrifice to appease some fucking evil. And then once he kills all his family, he'll lose his powers and then he'll die. And then it'll pass on to another child. So I don't know why she needed to be pregnant. Like I just don't get like is it because maybe something went wrong, like the evil was passed on to her when it wasn't supposed to be, like a la the ending of the fourth film. Again, you need like a better knowledge of this franchise than I think the majority of people have. And I probably knew more like fucking 8 years ago, but I have a life now. So I don't have time to be on like message boards all day or Reddit threads. I guess Reddit threads have replaced message boards. Um, but it's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, like
Ridiculous.
it's infuriating, you know?
It's not like I'm not angry because I'm not like I guess because I now I know that I will get a good one of these in the future.
Yeah.
That always helps. Like I think I'm it's easier for me to digest the Star Wars prequels, which I'm admittedly I've probably been too hard on. But now knowing that there are going to be better Star Wars films in the future, like those aren't the ones we ended the series on, it makes me feel better about those films. So I'm not like I can't get angry at this, and
Yeah.
I think I'm past the point of being angry at like a franchise. I just will hate the films individually. And this movie doesn't do enough to really make me hate it. It's not like a Jurassic World or the little fucking Lorax.
I don't think John Carpenter's ever gone this far into the sequels,
What do
like
you mean?
viewing. Like I
Like
don't think he's ever seen them.
I doubt it.
Yeah. Like
I
cuz in
mean,
interviews people have asked him about that and he's like I can't, man. Like it's too much.
I guess he was when he met with Bloomhouse. He was like, "There's, I don't want to do it. There's been 6 sequels and they've all been shit." So I don't know. It's a bad movie. We should, all right. We should. So the MacGuffin is kind of Jamie Lloyd, but it's more her incest baby,
Mm,
which is just gross. But
yeah,
like, what the fuck? That's someone again. This honestly, this feels like fan fiction. You know,
yeah.
like have you ever read fan fiction where like it suddenly gets really weird and gross, like out of nowhere?
You're like, oh no, I've been bamboozled. This is
And
not.
it's clear that like the writer isn't like a gross creep, but it's also clear they didn't think about the implications of what they were writing too
Yeah,
much. Like that's what this movie has.
yeah. Like there's a lot of that on Tumblr back in the day. I don't
Oh
know about
yeah,
now,
yeah.
but like, yeah.
Um, or it's like Pennywise becoming a gay icon.
Oh yeah, how did that happen?
That's definitely just weird.
That's hilarious.
I'm fine with the Babadook, but
Oh, there's a great article about how the Babadook is a gay icon,
oh
and
yeah,
I'm gonna link it in the description because it's hilarious.
it's great. It's great. I love it. God bless America. We're introduced to our other protagonist, which you've already talked about. Tommy Doyle, played by fucking Paul Rudd, who sucks and is terrible in this.
Oh, so bad.
Who lives in like a home, like he's in some sort of like institution of some kind, like a halfway house or something. They
Yeah.
never explain it. With an old lady who's deaf, quote unquote. Yeah, don't see that fucking twist coming. Um, we're also introduced to Kara Strode, who is the cousin of Laurie Strode, but they're not blood relatives because Laurie Strode is, of course, adopted by the Strode family. Everybody got that? And this Strode family, because we have Kara, her son Danny, she's got a brother, and a shit father,
Oh yeah.
and a
This
mother. And they all live in the Myers house, which they cannot sell because of the murders committed there. And apparently, the father has kept it a secret that what happened there, which doesn't make any goddamn sense.
there's no way. Like the internet wasn't a thing back then, like it is now, but like there's no way.
It's called the Myers house. Like, and here's the thing: it'd be one thing, like, uh, there are some elements. This is like clearly a fan thing because they took some elements of the unmade Halloween 4, where Halloween has been banned in Haddonfield until this year. This is like the year they're going to try and bring Halloween back. This is a plot point that goes nowhere, by the way, but it's a thing everyone's talking about in the background. And in the opening, we're hearing a radio DJ who's like, "Michael Myers is bullshit," like just an asshole that I found written somewhere, and I could not confirm that they wanted Howard Stern to play that radio DJ.
I've heard this as well.
This is probably like the height of his powers. I doubt it got any further than them suggesting it, because I know he's always hated the idea of playing radio DJs in movies. He was gonna play the Scarecrow in a Batman movie at one point.
Whoa,
Yeah,
what the fuck?
yeah, um, yeah. That didn't happen.
Oh.
Uh, And the DJ's like, Michael Myers, he's bullshit. And the female caller's like, I want to understand Michael. And he's like, you're sick, lady. Um, and I'm not sure if it's in the producer's cut because I don't remember it in that. But in the theatrical cut, you can hear the radio DJ being like, people are calling him being like, nah, man, it was the government at the end of Halloween 5. They don't say it like that. They say it was the government at the end of Halloween 5, and they wanted to harness his evil, or that they took him and they shot him into space, and the deity's like, "You people are ridiculous. That's stupid." Which those were fan theories that were going around for years. So, but here's the thing: this movie is going. Those fan theories are stupid, but the Cult of Thorn one is totally legit. So like I said, Kara Strode is kind of the protagonist, not really, of this film. She does nothing and just reacts to things happening around her. Her son becomes the target of the cult passing on Michael's evil at some point. It is uninteresting to watch, and She is mostly just running around, getting into trouble, falling in and out of trouble.
And at one point, she jumps out a fucking window.
Yeah, and she's hurt. Fuck it. It's that thing. We've seen that before. Get it? Um, and then we also are introduced to Dr. Loomis, who he's like a jovial Dr. Loomis. Like he's completely, mind you, he had a fucking heart attack beating Michael Myers to death at the end of Halloween 5. So imagine fucking die, Michael. And now when the radio DJ goes, "Oh, his doctor, he's probably dead," and then we cut the Loomis and he's like, "Dead? Haha, not yet. Just
Oh,
retired." He's basically Obi-Wan Kenobi.
yeah. Well, that's
And
a name I haven't heard in a long time.
Dr. Loomis, that's a name I haven't heard in a long time. Long time. Die! All right, so it's the duel from Star Wars between Obi-Wan and Vader, except it's Loomis hitting Vader over the head with a bit of wood. Die, Vader! Die! Um,
Fuck.
but he also, I should point out, he has like a giant chessboard. Like it's like the size, like it's almost like a nutcracker like size. Each figure's like the size of a nutcracker. It's fucking ridiculous. I don't buy that Dr. Loomis lives in like an estate with lots of books and he's on a typewriter just being like, guess I better be working on my memoirs. Like Michael Myers is still missing. Like no one knows what happened. He's presumed dead. Loomis would be like out on like just driving a car around country, checking literally every house for Michael Myers at this point.
Yeah, given how every other time that Michael's quote unquote died, he's basically just been like on the run, holding cops hostage, threatening children, you know? This
Yeah,
is the time where he's like, oh, la 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 la. Like, that's
yeah.
bullshit.
Maybe the heart attack was like, I need to change my life
Yeah,
priorities.
I need to look at what's important in life now.
Yeah. I'll no longer be about death. It'll be about life. 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 Um, but he's visited by an old friend who is supposed to be a doctor from the original Halloween films. He's supposed to be that doctor who's like, we don't know what happened, how he could drive the car. You know, I think it's supposed to be that character.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
He's in like
and
one scene.
and instead of being like adversaries like they were in that film, I guess they're old buddies now, which doesn't really make sense either.
Hmm.
Um, Honestly, all right. So this guy's the head of Smith's Grove. Fucking spoiler. I don't give a flying fuck. He's the man in black. He's like, I'm retiring, Loomis, and I want you to take over. And the implication is that I want you to take over the cult, Loomis. Why is Loomis not even involved in the cult? Like, if the cult really does control that hospital, Smith's Grove, and they're secretly behind everything, why? Why
How?
is. But, like, why was Loomis even let on the case?
Yeah.
Like, shouldn't it? It doesn't. It's so ludicrous.
Well, here's a fun fact about the actor though. That is the bad guy from the first Lethal Weapon.
Yeah, and he's the father in Gross Point Blank.
Yeah. Much
Which,
better films.
yeah, I mean, Gross Point Blank is something.
No,
But uh,
Lethal Weapon is the much better film.
watch all of Dan Aykroyd's scenes in. All right, Gross Point Blank is not a great film, but it's like it's got this brilliant subplot of Dan Aykroyd wanting to start a union for hitmen. It's like workers of the world unite. It's fucking hysterical. I wish that had been like the whole movie. Instead, it's a movie about how, oh, you can get with your high school sweetheart and she'll absolve you of the fact that you've been committing murders for 20 years. Anyway. So yeah, we have all our protagonists set up, and then a movie happens, and then it ends.
That's basically it.
There's really no point in talking about any of this. None of it holds any weight or interest.
We can't really get anything out of a discussion about it either. It's just kind of like
It's
this
not
is the low
fun.
point. of the
I will
movie,
say
of the
Loomis is
franchise.
still it's still pretty fun to watch Donald Pleasance in these movies.
Donald Pleasance, until his last day working on these films, was always a pleasure to watch.
Yeah, poor fucking guy. They wasted him. Um, but he like uh there's one awkward scene where he meets Tommy Doyle. It's all just so awkward. This whole fucking movie is awkward. Loomis slowly starts turning back into crazy Dr. Loomis, but he never goes full crazy again.
Yeah,
Um, stuff starts happening. Uh, I don't know. I'm like, it just doesn't make. Oh, also we should point out there's a fucking really terrible shot in this film where Kara Strode is hanging out with her friend, I guess, this other girl, and she's like, "Do you know that guy that lives across the street?" And like, "Oh, that's Tommy Doyle. Yeah, he's a weirdo. They say something scary happened to him years ago." Mind you, this girl who just said something scary happened to him is working on the committee to bring Halloween back because of Michael Myers. Like she should know that Tommy Doyle was affected by like how is that not known?
yeah.
It's ridiculous. And then there's like a fucking comedy shot of fucking Paul Rudd like standing staring out a window. It's like his full body. It is ridiculous.
um, I do want to mention that the changes to the producer's cut and the theatrical cut, because the producer's cut was only made basically for home release. Uh, you could tell they didn't like color correct everything properly with that one. Everything's a little more drab. Not that it fucking matters there either. The entire like last 20 minutes are different. I think like it's definitely a totally different finale. I just forget how long the changes are.
Yeah, I would say
Uh,
about the last 20 minutes are completely different. And the movie loses about like 8 minutes.
which I
So
mean, if I'm being honest, might be my preferred cut just because it's fucking shorter.
I have neither cut. I do not acknowledge these films. As far as I'm concerned, they are not at all connected to Halloween. I will acknowledge Halloween 5 before I acknowledge this. Um, I'd probably acknowledge Resurrection before I acknowledge Halloween 6.
Damn.
Yeah.
We'll
Uh,
get to that one. But
as of right
damn.
now, this is like my least favorite by a mile.
It's about the same as five for me. Like
Nah, I
it's
can live with 5. Honestly, 5 gave me one of the most joyous scenes in film history. I can't really hate it.
I got nothing else, man. This is brutal.
It's a bad movie. Um,
Bad
I like
things.
the woman, the old lady playing Mrs. Blankenship, the woman who's supposedly like deaf, but she's actually part of the cult.
Yeah.
I don't know. She kind of had like an engaging presence. Like I'm like, you're better than this movie, lady. She gives a speech about like Halloween and like its original purpose, where you're like, that's the moment where you're supposed to be like, yeah, this lady's clearly evil. Stay away from her. But no one learns anything 'cause it's a fucking movie.
It reminded me of a Hot Fuzz, and then I just
Yeah,
wanted to watch
yeah.
Hot Fuzz.
Well, you know what? The original twist in this was going to be that the entire town of Haddonfield was in on it.
So
Uh,
it's Hot Fuzz.
yeah, yeah. But Mustafa Akkad was like, we'll do that for 7,
Oh God.
which never happened. Uh, honestly, that would have made this film work if like the whole town goes crazy.
Yeah. Well, at least it's something, you know.
Yeah,
No, then you could have gotten like full on Crazy Loomis,
yeah,
where he's
exactly.
just running over citizens in the town.
Yeah, he's just shooting random citizens.
Like imagine just like a full on like nuclear family, like a father, a mother, little kids, and they're like hunting down Loomis, and he just like shotguns them down in the middle of the street.
Imagine like a toddler in one of those pumpkin outfits.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And Loomis like pointing a fucking 22 Magnum at her, being like, "Whose side are you on?" Like, yeah, that would be an amazing film. But they didn't do that. Again, I don't think honestly. I think one of the problem is Donald Pleasance was so old making this that you can't really. He probably just didn't have it in him to go full crazy Loomis again.
Mm.
I mean, not to be a dick, but he looks bad in this at
Yeah.
times.
Like I
Uh,
said, he looked tired in Halloween 5, but here it was like, oh man, like
he was
he was
he was
really up there.
clearly so sick that they couldn't even bother to do makeup on him because there's a line excusing the fact that he no longer has burn marks on him. You know,
Yeah.
like he's like, "Oh, I got plastic surgery. That's why I don't have burn marks." And and like there's scenes in it where like there's one I always think of the shots whenever he's with Tommy Doyle. Like they'll pull up in the car and Tommy Doyle will like jump out of the car and like run up to the house, and then you kind of just see Loomis like barely able to get out of the car, and it's like oh, like
Yeah.
it's sad. It's a little sad.
Yeah.
Um,
His last movie.
yeah, it's his last film, and he died between this and the reshoots. So that's why he has nothing to do with the ending of the film. They kind of just forget about him.
Yeah, in both versions.
Yeah, which is weird. Yeah, he is forgotten about kinda in the original cut. It's kind of like you think he's been forgotten about, but actually it's a trick to make him the new head of the cult. But in the theatrical cut, they removed most of the cult stuff, and instead he's just kind of forgotten about, and then he runs into the third act of the film. Uh, that's honestly weird. I had heard because I don't think I had ever seen Halloween 6 in full before now.
I
Like
don't think I had it either.
I had seen parts of it, and I had always heard that the theatrical cut of Halloween 6 cut all of the cult stuff from the film, and instead it's still in it a lot, but then it just totally ignores it at the end, which makes it even stranger. You know,
Yeah.
like there's like all the like there's the cult opening, and then it's like the whole like the certain suspicious characters end up being part of the cult. They kidnap everyone, bring them to the hospital, and then it's just like, oh, okay, yeah, that was something. No more cult stuff.
Like they probably decided we were just talking about to save it to be answered in the sequel, but they didn't get that because it's fucking
I'm
awful.
not even willing to say that. I'm just gonna say that they said just get it done. I guess one of the big some of the contention for the film is that the Miramax, the Weinsteins wanted this movie to be like a really extravagant gore fest. And
Oh, that explains the
yeah,
differences between the kills.
yeah, the producers wanted to pull back on that. So if you watch the producers cut, a lot of the deaths are a lot less violent. There's still a lot of violence in it, but they're less violent. And then in the theatrical cut, a dude's head explodes.
Yeah, which is just like fucking that's almost kind of fun. In a better directed movie with an even like ounce of a better script, that could be kind of fun, but
Yeah, honestly, I would have been fine with that in the producers cut. I would have been fine with like it going crazy. But instead, it's like halfway between all of its ideas.
yeah. Or like what you said earlier, where it's kind of like Michael Myers walked into like a different movie.
Yeah,
Like imagine there's another horror movie in like this. This is what the Halloween sequels should have done when they were getting this batshit crazy. I don't want this now, but for this era of the Halloween movies, where they're setting up like another slasher film, like another type of like Friday the 13th or something like that, and then Michael Myers just walks in. You know, like
yeah.
different little setups, and then just Michael Myers shows up.
So you're saying that you should have done a Cloverfield paradox?
They should have done the Predator thing, but Cloverfield Paradox is pretty good reference point, not movie reference
I
point.
love the Cloverfield paradox.
But it's not good.
No, but there's a hand from another dimension like doing Morse code. It's so fucking stupid.
That movie, like, God, I hadn't felt disappointment like that in a long time.
I really enjoyed it.
I wish I could.
I guess that's why Overlord is still called Overlord.
Yeah.
Because you fucking know it'd be called like Operation Cloverfield.
Oh yeah, yeah. Uh, I'm really looking forward to that one. Just a nasty little B movie.
Yeah, I hope it's alright. It looks like it's gonna be like more of an action movie than a horror film, though.
Yeah. No, it doesn't look like very good, but
I saw a movie.
it kind of looks like it's gonna scratch an itch for me.
I saw a movie called The Devil's Rock. I think that's what it was called. And it's about Nazis who accidentally summon a demon. Not accidentally, they summon a demon. Um, and an Australian soldier comes to this keep to like blow it up as part of like the D-Day invasions. But he gets there and like all the Nazis except one scientist are dead, and they have to find a way to like keep the demon like locked on the island, or else it'll get out and kill everyone. And it's really good. Like it's good for like what I call like a midnight cable movie.
Yeah.
Except the demon's like naked the whole movie. Whatever. It's really good. It's like a good little movie, and I feel like Overlord is like a popcorn version of that.
Yeah.
I hope the guy who made that gets to do something else.
They just got him to do something else. I forgot what it was. He got tapped to do something else like this week.
Oh, the guy I'm talking about, or the Overlord guy?
Overlord, my bad.
Okay. Well, good for him, I guess.
Yeah.
Fuck movies.
Fuck Halloween 6.
Fuck Halloween. Fuck Thanksgiving. Fuck the concept of holidays.
Yeah, I got nothing else for Halloween 6. This was like rough.
Yeah, it's just very boring. I took a lot of notes, and I'm like looking at them, and I'm like, none of this is worth bringing up. I honestly took a lot of notes because I thought there'd be more difference between the versions, and there really isn't.
Nah.
Uh, Like, it's just one is a bad movie, and the other is an attempt to make a bad movie less bad, but they just made it more confusing. And that's really the main difference. The endings are very different. Um, where the cult stuff is removed, and Jamie Lloyd's death is different in the theatrical cut. Uh, I guess the last thing we can talk about is the ending, which is that in the oh my god, I can't believe I'm about to say this. In Halloween 6, the producer's cut, Tommy Doyle stops Michael Myers with magic rocks. And it's actually this moment that could have been cool because it's like a super long hallway, and Michael Myers is at the other end of it, just slowly coming towards them. And like that could have been a really cool thing if like they're desperately trying to get this gate open, and they know if Michael Myers gets to him, they're fucking dead. But it's ruined by Paul Rudd's goofy rocks.
This has fucking happened.
Yeah,
Millions of people saw this movie.
yeah, it made like fucking 30 million.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Also, I should mention that the guy playing Myers was the same guy who played Michael Myers in Halloween 4. But in this one, he's playing it completely differently, and the way he walks is comical. He walks like a supporting character on The Sopranos. Like how an Italian guy walks, like waving his weight around. Like, did you notice that? It's
There's a goofiness to him.
it's fucking,
Aloofness.
it's embarrassing. Like, I almost expect him to go, ho, there's a gabba go. Um,
Well, there's also just like moments where he's like huddling after people, like when Tommy Doyle opens the door and like rescues Kara, her name was, right? He pulls her out, and then Michael's like right next to them. And he kind of like he lunges, and then he just keeps walking slowly right behind
yeah,
him. And it's
they,
just
they
like, come on, man, just fucking kill everyone. Just end this movie.
they don't get that, like, they don't get that Michael Myers doesn't like jog, but he also doesn't like walk. Like, Michael Myers like doesn't run fast, but he also isn't like a slow walker. He will pick up his pace from time to time.
Yeah. Ugh.
And uh so yeah, he's stopped by magical rocks. The cult leader finds the incapacitated Michael Myers. Loomis gets all the fucking characters are still alive. I didn't not mention that the girl Strode, Kara Strode, whatever the fuck her name is, her father's like abusive, and it's like ridiculous. Um, that was a whole thing. His head explodes in the theatrical cut.
Yeah.
Don't watch this movie. I guess that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, there's nothing to this, man. I know it has fans out there. I don't get you, but I'm glad you're happy. Don't force this movie upon anyone else.
Yeah, never see this. I don't understand or respect you if you like this. That's not true. I really don't care.
Well,
If you like it, great, but
yeah.
we will never understand each other.
Yeah, I think
Um,
we've done a pretty good job in this series of being like, we'll say like, oh, fuck your opinions and shit. Or like, but we're generally pretty open to being like, this movie's not for me. Like, you might like it. Yeah, I can get why people. I don't understand this movie. I don't understand the people that are like a fan of this.
I might have made this analogy
I
before,
don't get it.
but I had this experience when I saw Watchmen in theaters, and the Zack Snyder's version of Watchmen, even the theatrical cut, is about as good as you're gonna get when it comes to adaptations of Watchmen in terms of following the comic, you know?
Yeah.
And I remember being in theaters and getting exactly what I wanted and being like, "Oh, I don't want this." You know?
Yeah.
That's what this movie kind of feels like to me. I feel like a younger version of me would have felt like he wanted this movie, and then when he got it, would have been like, "Oh no." So then, like I said, Loomis sends all the characters off on a bus to never be seen again. And he runs. He's like, "I have unfinished business here," and he runs back inside, finds Michael Myers laying on the ground, and he's like, "It's finally over." But he takes the mask off, and up, it's his doctor buddy who was the head of the cult, and he passes the evil on the Loomis. Loomis goes, "Ah!" And then we see Michael Myers walking away in the cult cape and hood. And then there's a really awkward attempt to try and be like the ending of the original Halloween showing the houses. And there's a close up of Pumpkin, and then it ends.
Fucking kill me.
And that's somehow better than the theatrical cut, which ends with Loomis going, putting the characters on a bus going, "I have unfinished business here," but because he's dead, they can't shoot any more scenes with him. So it just cuts to the Michael Myers mask falling on the ground, and then you hear Loomis going, "Ah!" And then it says, "In memory of Donald Pleasance."
Which is a choice. That's a decision.
It
All right, Halloween 6. It's bad.
was bad. I'm not interested. There's no ideas in it that I feel like are worth exploring. Um, that's entirely subjective. I'm sure someone who's like more into this shit could be like, "Oh, this is actually an interesting. Go fuck yourself." Um, yeah,
Yeah.
this was not an enjoyable experience to watch. It was a trying one.
Yeah.
And I rented two versions of this, and I really regret that. So
um,
at least I didn't order like the fucking Scream Factory like special edition, which I almost did.
is there a special edition of Halloween 6?
That was the one. That's the version I think where you can get both the theatrical and the producer's cut.
Jesus.
It's like the only official version.
Good lord.
And I almost did that, and I'm now very grateful that I didn't. Um,
Matt, this has been something. Uh, brighter times ahead. Not quite yet, but brighter times ahead. Until
I
then,
think after all of this, I'm gonna need something to drink. I'm gonna need some water. I'm
no,
gonna need
don't.
some good old H2O.
Now, everyone will know the truth.
I knew what he was, but I never knew why.
Halloween 6, the origin of Michael Myers.
All right, Matt, where could the people find you?
I'm at EmperorOTN at Twitter.com and YouTube.
You can follow me at DEWGO Waffles, Waffle Press, YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes. Like, subscribe, rate, etc. Comment, share with your friends. Tell us why you like Halloween 6. I want to know because I don't get it. I don't get it.